Hi everyone, it's Francois Spannenburg from Stagemasterslive. Welcome to this new video. I chose to talk today about interaction with the audience. It is not going to be, in my point of view, a tutorial, but more a bunch of tips, like 4 or 5 tips. I am going to talk about interaction with the audience, but not in the context of interaction as participation of the audience within the show. It's going to be more about those moments in the gig where you actually interact with the audience, like you talk to them, you address them, you share something with them, but they don't have to participate. There are a few things that can be helpful when you don't feel comfortable doing so, or maybe some mistakes to avoid, etc. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a food for thoughts. So the first tip is about addressing one person in particular versus addressing the whole audience as a whole group. Depending on the context, I tend to think that it is always better to address the audience as a whole, because people in the audience, they like the idea to be part of the show, to be included in it. So if you address one person in particular, they will think like, okay, this is happening for this person. This person is very lucky because this person has lots of chit chat, but us here, not really. So if you are in the right context, for example, if you do a one-man show, you're a humorist, etc., and you start playing with someone, making jokes, addressing one person, it's really cool. But when you make a show as a band or as a musician or a singer, it tends to be different. The vibe is different, the context is different. You're not here to make them laugh, you're here to entertain them musically. So it can't be handled in the same way, in my opinion at least. So I would advise you to really talk to them as a whole group. Everyone needs to be included. Of course, there are some contexts for musicians and singers or bands where the one-on-one is acceptable, I think. For example, if someone is shouting at you or cheering at you or waving at you, you can always point back with a finger to just simply let the person know that you acknowledged him or her. That is something that anyone in the audience would absolutely love and appreciate. So this is a total go-go, absolutely. Waving back or pointing with a finger. The second thing I want to talk about is about looking straight in the eyes. This is really debated a lot among performers. There are very different opinions. Some people think we should look straight in the eyes. Some people say we shouldn't. And I'm going to try to explain you why. Most of the singers will tend to think that it's much nicer to look at someone in the audience straight in the eyes, because it is indeed the best way to communicate or the best way to create an emotional connection with someone. It's true. It's absolutely undeniable. The problem is that as good and efficient as it is very dangerous. Why? Because it is so easy to lose your concentration when you look at someone in the eyes. If you're not absolutely fully focused, fully concentrated, there is so much emotions that one can convey through the eyes, through a stare, that if you're not ready for it, you may simply lose completely your concentration. You can forget lyrics, you can forget or you can actually be disconnected from the feel. When you're performing a solo, all of a sudden you don't feel it anymore. You kind of play randomly some notes. You're not there anymore, basically. Those things happen a lot. It happened to me. It happened to some of my fellow musicians, colleagues. It happened to plenty of people I know. So if you think that you are able to look at someone in the eyes and it will not disturb your concentration, by all means, yes, do it, because it is indeed very efficient. You can create a very strong connection. You can recreate something very, very, very strong. But if you don't feel secure about it, there is a way. What I do, because I know it actually makes me lose my concentration, what I do is that I will look at the people just above the head, like this, and trust me, it will give them the impression you look at them in the eyes. Anyway, if you're performing in front of a large audience, just think of it. You can't look at everyone else, at each and every one straight in the eyes. If it's really at a big venue, most of the time you won't be able to see the audience. It's going to be in the dark, except for the front rows. So, and if you are working on smaller venues, this trick about looking just above the head is fabulous, because it will give the impression to everyone that you are looking at them, except you're not. So your concentration is not broken. And when it comes to stage performance, my opinion is it doesn't matter what you really do. What really matters is what impression the audience has about what you're doing. So if they have the feeling that you look at them in the eyes, even if you're not, it's good enough. They're happy. Your concentration is not lost. It's a win-win situation. So you should try it, because I think for many performers who feel disturbed about staring in the eyes, it will be really a helpful tool. Also, when you interact with the audience, something that I think that would be really important would be to try to transform this moment into a climax, a major climax. Why? Because I think that if you perform, you should never do anything randomly. The idea is to always keep a certain dynamics in your show. So when you have an opportunity to talk to the audience, to interact with them, really transform it into a climax. There are plenty of ways when you want to acknowledge your audience to transform it into a climax. So if someone waves at you or shouts, etc., you can point at them with a finger, as I mentioned it earlier. You can also decide that you want to go up from the stage for the crowd that is like closer to the stage. You can decide to go touch hands, to shake hands. That they love it. They absolutely love it. And another thing, it's probably going to be my last tip about that. So again, so you can come up from stage, touch people, etc., etc. If you're doing a solo and you want to interact with the audience, another great thing before I finish is to mingle in the crowd. You go perform your solo or sing your song within the crowd. They love that. You don't have to have them participate, but you will absolutely interact. You can touch people again. You can shake hands while you perform. All this is absolutely fabulous in terms of a connection with the audience. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about is about the famous climax. I tell you, make it a climax. Be careful when you do this, because if you use any of those ideas about touching the hands, shaking hands, mingling in the crowd, talk to them, address them, you can either transform it into a climax or an anti-climax. How? It's simple. If you choose the wrong moment, you're going to destroy everything that you've been working for, meaning to get a perfect dynamics. It happened to me. I was performing a solo, and then the singer decided, okay, I'm going to shake hands. I'm going to go and do a whole thing with the crowd, which in the absolute was absolutely super cool. It was absolutely super cool. Except don't do that during the solo of one of your musicians, because you're stealing his moment. A performance for a band is separated in moments. Everyone has its moment to shine, and a solo is one moment where the moment should be for you. The attention should be focused on you, on the performer, whoever it is that is performing the solo. If you start to make an interaction with the crowd where your musician is performing, you are stealing his moment, and you mess up the dynamics, because then normally you're supposed to build your song with a certain dynamics and climaxes at specific points to make sure that the whole thing is going to be phenomenal. You're going to lose that if you put things together that should not be together, like two points of focus at the same time. That should not happen. It's one point at a time. So go mingle the crowd, interact with the audience, do all that when it's your turn. And when is the right moment? Because I just talked about the wrong moment, so when someone else is having a solo. But the right moment can be during your own solo, or at a moment when you can improvise, or I would say between the end of a solo from one of your performers or one of your instrumentalists, if you're a singer, and the moment you're supposed to sing again. So you can decide that, well, they can continue to do the accompaniment, and I'm not going to sing straight away. I'm going to have a moment with the audience. I'm going to interact with them. I'm going to ask them if they are feeling great, etc. I'm going to go touch hands. I'm going to go shake hands. I'm even going to go mingle the crowd. This is perfect. Absolutely perfect, because it's your moment. It's the moment when you're supposed to shine. So that's the right timing. So if you videotape your shows and you watch them, look at this. Look at the timing to see if everything fits the context. Because if it's not, that's things that you may want to eliminate from your show in order to make it more fluid and to respect more the dynamics and the climaxes in general. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you very soon on the next one. Cheers, bye-bye.